Welcome to the Paleontology Iceberg. In this journey, we'll travel into the layers of paleontological knowledge, starting with the familiar concepts and descending into the lesser known, mysterious, and controversial topics within the field. From iconic dinosaurs and fossil discoveries to bizarre theories and fringe science, we'll explore the full spectrum of paleontology, shedding light on the fascinating world of ancient life and the history of Earth. Now before we begin, I want to give credits to Knowledge Hub for the iceberg chart and check out his Reddit too, Ox7. Tier 1. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, which lived millions of years ago, were among the most diverse and fascinating creatures to ever inhabit the Earth. Paleontology, the study of ancient life through fossils, has provided us with profound insights into their evolution, lifestyle, and eventual extinction. Dinosaurs first appeared in the Triassic period over 230 million years ago and evolved into a wide array of species that dominate terrestrial ecosystems for more than 160 million years. The fossil record, a primary tool of paleontologists, has revealed a stunning variety of dinosaur species, ranging from small bird-like creatures to gigantic sauropods that could stretch over 100 feet in length. This diversity is a testament to their adaptability and evolutionary success. Dinosaurs occupied almost every type of environment on Earth, from dense forests to arid deserts, though the majority of their fossils are found in lowland areas like floodplains and deltas, where conditions favored preservation. One of the most remarkable aspects of dinosaur evolution is the phenomenon of convergent evolution, where unrelated species evolved similar traits to adapt to comparable environments. For example, different groups of herbivorous dinosaurs independently developed similar methods for eating plants. Some, like the long-necked sauropods, evolved to strip vegetation with their small heads and ferment it in large, barrel-like bodies, while others, like the duck-billed hadrosaurs, developed specialized teeth for grinding tough plant material. This pattern of adaptation highlights the complexity of prehistoric ecosystems and the innovative ways dinosaurs survived and thrived. Paleontologists have also uncovered evidence of aquatic dinosaurs, challenging the long-held belief that these creatures were strictly land dwellers. The discovery of Spinosaurs, a large predatory dinosaur with adaptations for swimming, such as a fin-like tail and dense bones, suggests that some dinosaurs spent a significant portion of their lives in water, hunting for fish and other aquatic prey. This finding has reshaped our understanding of dinosaur ecology and hints at the potential for other yet undiscovered aquatic species. Mesozoic era. The Mesozoic era, often dubbed the Age of Reptiles, spanned approximately 186 million years from 252 to 66 million years ago, and is divided into three periods: Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. This era followed the devastating Permian-Triassic extinction event, which wiped out 90% of Earth's species, setting the stage for a dramatic evolutionary rebound. The Mesozoic was marked by the dominance of dinosaurs, the rise of mammals and birds, and significant geological shifts as the supercontinent Pangaea broke apart. During the Triassic period, life began to rebound with the appearance of the first dinosaurs and early mammals. Reptiles, particularly archosaurs, flourished, leading to the evolution of the earliest dinosaurs by the middle of this period. The climate of the Triassic was hot and dry, with vast deserts across Pangaea. But as the period progressed, first true mammals, small and nocturnal, began to appear. These early mammals were insignificant in size and diversity compared to the dominant reptiles. The Jurassic period, which followed, saw a more humid and warmer climate as Pangaea began to split into smaller landmasses. This period is famous for the proliferation of large dinosaurs, including the massive sauropods like Brachiosaurus and the predatory theropods like Allosaurus. It was also during the Jurassic that the first birds, such as Archaeopteryx, evolved from theropod dinosaurs, making a significant evolutionary milestone. The lush plant life, dominated by gymnosperms like conifers and cycads, supported the immense herbivorous dinosaurs that roamed the planet. The Cretaceous period, the final chapter of the Mesozoic, was a time of further diversification and the rise of iconic dinosaurs such as Tyrannosaurus rex and Triceratops. This period also saw the first flowering plants, which quickly spread across the planet and provided new food sources for herbivorous dinosaurs. While the breakup of Pangaea continued, leading to the formation of the modern continents and creating isolated environments that drove the evolution of new species. The Mesozoic ended abruptly with the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event, likely caused by a massive asteroid impact in what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. This catastrophic event led to the extinction of all non-avian dinosaurs, along with many other species. Volcanic activity, such as the eruptions of the Deccan Traps in present-day India, may have also played a role in this mass extinction, contributing to the drastic climate changes that occurred. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, born on February 12, 1809 in Shrewsbury, England, is one of the most influential figures in the history of science. His groundbreaking work in the field of biology laid the foundation for our modern understanding of evolution and natural selection. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection revolutionized the way we view the natural world and our place within it, fundamentally altering the course of biological science. Darwin's journey toward developing his theory began with his voyage on the HMS Beagle from 1831 to 1836. As the ship's naturalist, Darwin had the opportunity to explore diverse ecosystems from rainforests of South America to the Galapagos Islands. It was on these islands that Darwin observed variations in the physical characteristics of finches, particularly their beak shapes, which appeared to be adapted to different food sources on the various islands. These observations were crucial in shaping his ideas about adaptation and specification. Upon returning to England, Darwin spent over 2 decades meticulously gathering evidence and refining his theories. His work culminated in the publication of On the Origin of Species in 1859. In this seminal book, Darwin proposed the species evolve over time through a process of natural selection, where individuals with traits that are better suited to their environment are more likely to survive and reproduce, passing those advantageous traits to the next generation. This idea challenged the prevailing views of the time, which were largely based on the notion of fixed, unchanging species. Darwin's theory also introduced the concept of common descent, suggesting that all living organisms share a common ancestor and that the diversity of life we see today is the result of millions of years of gradual evolution. This idea was revolutionary and sparked considerable debate, particularly in religious circles, as it contradicted the literal interpretation of creation as described in the Bible. Despite the initial controversy, Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection has been supported by a vast body of evidence from various specific disciplines, including paleontology, genetics, and comparative anatomy. The fossil record, for instance, provides numerous examples of transitional forms that illustrate the gradual changes that occur over long periods. Additionally, the discovery of DNA in the 20th century provided a molecular basis for understanding how traits are inherited and how genetic mutations can lead to variation within populations. Evolution. Evolution is the gradual process by which different kinds of living organisms have developed and diversified from earlier forms throughout the history of Earth. This concept, which is central to modern biology, was first comprehensively explained by Charles Darwin in the 19th century. Darwin proposed that evolution occurs through a mechanism called natural selection, where organisms with traits better suited to their environment tend to survive and reproduce, passing those advantageous traits to the next generation. Over long periods, this process leads to significant changes in the species, sometimes resulting in the emergence of entirely new species. At its core, evolution is driven by changes in the genetic makeup of populations over time. These genetic changes, or mutations, occur randomly, and some of these mutations may provide a survival advantage. For example, a mutation might give an organism a better ability to find food, avoid predators, or withstand environmental changes. If these traits are inheritable, they become more common in the population over successive generations, a process Darwin referred to as descent with modification. Beyond natural selection, other mechanisms contribute to evolution, including genetic drift, which is the random fluctuation of gene variants in a population, and gene flow, the transfer of genes between populations. Together, these processes contribute to the rich diversity of life observed today, from bacteria thriving in extreme environments to complex multicellular organisms like plants and animals. Fossil records provide a crucial insight into the history of life, showing how species have changed over millions of years. For instance, fossil record documents that transition of life forms from simple, single-celled organisms to the vast array of complex organisms we see today. It also shows patterns of extinction and radiation, where species die out and new ones emerge to fill ecological niches. The concept of evolution has been further refined with the discovery of DNA, which revealed the molecular basis of inheritance. Modern studies in genetics and molecular biology continue to provide evidence for evolution, showing how genes change over time and how these changes can lead to the development of new species. For example, the study of Darwin's finches in the Galapagos Islands illustrates how environmental pressure can lead to the evolution to different beak shapes in response to available food sources. Mass extinction. Mass extinctions are extraordinary events in Earth's history that have dramatically shaped the course of life and evolution. These events are defined by the rapid and widespread loss of a significant portion of Earth's species in a relatively short geological timeframe, often due to catastrophic events such as massive volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, or severe climate changes. The Big Five mass extinctions, which include the End Ordovician, Late Devonian, End Permian, End Triassic, and End Cretaceous events, are the most well-known, with each one wiping out a substantial percentage of global biodiversity. From a paleontological perspective, mass extinctions have a dual role. They are both destructive and creative forces. On one hand, they eliminate vast numbers of species, erasing entire lineages from the tree of life. For example, the End Permian extinction, often referred to as the Great Dying, eradicated around 90% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrate species. On the other hand, these events often paved the way for rapid evolutionary changes and the emergence of new species. After a mass extinction, surviving species may diversify rapidly to fill the ecological niches left vacant by extinct species. This phenomenon, known as adaptive radiation, was observed after the End Cretaceous extinction, which led to the diversification of birds and mammals, including the eventual rise of humans. The fossil record serves as a crucial tool for paleontologists to study these extinctions. By analyzing patterns of fossilized remains before, during, and after these events, scientists can infer the rates of extinction and recovery, the selectivity of extinctions, and the evolutionary consequences for the survivors. For instance, studies have shown that some traits, such as wide geographical disruption or ecological flexibility, might have increased the chances of survival during these crises. Moreover, recent research suggests that mass extinctions can also trigger profound genetic changes. For example, following the asteroid impact that caused the End Cretaceous extinction, which wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs, the genomes of early bird species underwent significant alterations. These changes likely contributed to the incredible diversity of bird species we see today, highlighting how mass extinctions can deeply influence the trajectory of life's evolution at both macro and micro levels. Neanderthals. Neanderthals are one of the closest extinct relatives of modern humans, having lived in Europe and parts of Asia from around 400,000 to 40,000 years ago. These hominins are often depicted as brutish or primitive, but archaeological evidence paints a much more nuanced picture of their capabilities and way of life. Neanderthals were well adapted to the harsh climates of Ice Age Europe, with stocky builds that conserved heat and large noses that warmed and humidified the cold air. They were skilled hunters, capable of taking down large animals like mammoths and bison using sophisticated tools made from stone and bone. These tools show a high level of craftsmanship and indicate that Neanderthals had a deep understanding of their environment. Moreover, they were likely capable of speech and complex social interactions, as suggested by the structure of their throats and the organization of their living spaces, which often included areas designated for specific activities like toolmaking or food preparation. One of the most fascinating aspects of Neanderthal life is their cultural and symbolic behavior. There is evidence that Neanderthals buried their dead, sometimes with grave goods, which hints at a belief in an afterlife or at least some form of ritualistic behavior. They also made art, including jewelry, from animal bones and shells, and there is some evidence that they may have painted on cave walls. These findings challenge the long-held view that symbolic thought and culture were unique to Homo sapiens. The relationship between Neanderthals and modern humans is also a topic of great interest. Genetic studies have shown that there was interbreeding between the two species, and as a result, all non-African people today have a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA. This genetic legacy has been linked to various traits in modern humans, including aspects of the immune system and even certain behavioral tendencies. Dinosaurs lived with humans theory. The idea that dinosaurs coexisted with humans is a fringe theory that contradicts the overwhelming consensus in the scientific community. According to paleontology, dinosaurs became extinct around 65 million years ago, at the end of the Cretaceous period, long before the emergence of modern humans, which occurred only about 300,000 years ago. This theory, often rooted in pseudoscience, is usually promoted by some groups with specific religious or cultural beliefs that reject established scientific timelines, particularly those regarding evolution and Earth's history. Proponents of the dinosaurs lived with humans theory often cite misinterpreted evidence, such as alleged human footprints found alongside dinosaur tracks, or supposed depictions of dinosaurs in ancient art. However, these claims have been thoroughly debunked by scientists. For instance, the famous Paluxy River tracks in Texas, which some claim show human and dinosaur footprints together, have been re-examined and show to be either misidentified dinosaur tracks or outright hoaxes. Similarly, supposed images of dinosaurs in ancient art are often vague or stylized depictions of known animals or mythical creatures rather than actual dinosaurs. The timeline of Earth's history, as established through radiometric dating and the fossil record, places dinosaurs and humans millions of years apart. Dinosaurs dominated the Mesozoic era, a period that spanned about approximately 230 to 65 million years ago. The extinction of the dinosaurs, likely caused by a combination of volcanic activity and a massive asteroid impact, paved the way for the rise of mammals and eventually the evolution of humans. The gap between the last non-avian dinosaurs and the first humans is so vast that there is no credible evidence to suggest any overlap in their existence. KT extinction. The KT extinction, also known as the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event, occurred approximately 66 million years ago and is one of the most well-known mass extinctions in Earth's history. This event marks the end of the Mesozoic era and led to the extinction of about 75% of all species, including the non-avian dinosaurs, which had dominated the planet for over 160 million years. The KT extinction is often cited as one of the most significant events in the history of life on Earth, given its profound impact on the planet's biodiversity and the evolutionary trajectory that followed. The primary cause of the KT extinction is widely believed to be the impact of a massive asteroid, estimated to be around 10 kilometers in diameter, the Yucatan Peninsula in present-day Mexico. This impact created the Chicxulub crater and released an enormous amount of energy, equivalent to billions of atomic bombs. The immediate effects included massive wildfires, tsunamis, and an impact winter, where debris thrown into the atmosphere blocked sunlight, leading to a dramatic drop in global temperatures. This sudden and severe climate change disrupted photosynthesis, leading to the collapse of food chains, particularly affecting large terrestrial and marine animals. In addition to the asteroid impact, there is evidence suggesting that that extensive volcanic activity, particularly the Deccan Traps in present-day India, may have also played a role in the KT extinction. These volcanic eruptions released vast amounts of lava, ash, and gases such as sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to long-term climate change, ocean acidification, and further disruption of ecosystems. The combination of the asteroid impact and volcanic activity created a perfect storm of environmental stressors that most species could not survive. Paleontologists have extensively studied the fossil record from KT boundary, a distinct layer of sediment that marks the transition between Cretaceous and Paleogene periods. This layer is rich in iridium, a rare element on Earth's surface but abundant in asteroids, supporting the impact hypothesis. Fossils found below this boundary show a rich diversity of species, while those above it reveal a significant reduction in biodiversity, highlighting the extinction's immediate effects. Fossil fuels are from dinosaurs. Fossil fuels, such as oil, coal, and natural gas, are derived from the remains of dinosaurs is a common misconception, but it is not accurate. Fossil fuels are indeed made from the remains of ancient life forms, but they primarily originate from the decomposition of prehistoric plants, algae, and tiny marine organisms, not dinosaurs. The process of fossil fuel formation began hundreds of millions of years ago, long before dinosaurs even existed. During periods like the Carboniferous, vast swamps covered much of the earth. Plants and algae in these swamps captured sunlight through photosynthesis, creating organic material. When these plants and organisms died, they sank to the bottom of the swamps and oceans, where they were buried under layers of sediment. Over millions of years, heat and pressure transformed this organic material into the hydrocarbons we know today as coal, oil, and natural gas. Coal is mainly derived from ancient plant material, while oil and natural gas are formed from microscopic marine organisms like plankton and algae. Conditions necessary for oil and gas formation include the right temperature, pressure, and time, far beyond what would be required for dinosaur remains to contribute significantly to these deposits. Furthermore, the idea that oil comes directly from dinosaurs is debunked by the fact that oil fields and dinosaur fossil sites are not typically found in the same geological context. Dinosaurs, as large terrestrial animals, are not found in the same environments where the organic material for fossil fuels was deposited and transformed. Instead, oil reserves are often located in ancient seabeds or areas that were once lush, swampy regions filled with plant life and microscopic marine organisms. Woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth is one of the most iconic creatures of the Ice Age. Best known for its thick, shaggy coat and long curved tusks, these massive herbivores roamed the northern parts of North America, Europe, and Asia during the Pleistocene epoch, thriving in the cold, tundra-like environments alongside other megafauna such as saber-toothed cats and giant ground sloths. Woolly mammoths were well adapted to their frigid habitats. Their long fur with an underlayer of shorter hair helped insulate them against the cold, while their large flat molars were ideal for grinding tough grasses and other vegetation that grew in the harsh climate. Their tusks, which grew up to 15 feet long, were used for a variety of purposes, including digging through snow to find food, stripping bark from trees, and even fighting during mating season. These mammoths were a part of a larger family of elephant-like creatures, with the woolly mammoth being particularly adapted to cold environments. Fossils and preserved remains, such as those found in Siberian permafrost, have provided scientists with detailed insights into their anatomy, diet, and even behavior. For instance, analysis of their teeth reveals wear patterns that indicate they grazed on tough, abrasive vegetation, and some remains show evidence of injuries that may have been caused by battles with other mammoths or predators. The extinction of the woolly mammoth is a subject of significant debate among scientists. They began to disappear around 10,000 years ago, with the last known population surviving on Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean until about 4,000 years ago. Several factors likely contributed to their extinction, including climate change, which led to the shrinking of their cold, grassy habitats, and human hunting. Evidence suggests that early humans hunted mammoths for their meat, bones, and tusks, which were used for tools, shelter, and art. Paleozoic era. The Paleozoic era, spanning from approximately 541 to 252 million years ago, represents a significant chapter in Earth's history, marked by dramatic changes in life, climate, and geography. This era is divided into 6 geological periods: the Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and Permian periods. Each of these periods witnessed pivotal evolutionary developments and major ecological shifts that laid the foundation for the modern world. The era began with the Cambrian explosion, a remarkable event around 541 million years ago, when most major animal phyla first appeared in the fossil record. This period saw the rapid diversification of marine life, including the emergence of complex organisms like trilobites, arthropods. As the Paleozoic progressed, life continued to evolve and adapt, with significant milestones such as the colonization of land by plants and animals during the Silurian and Devonian periods. One of the key features of the Paleozoic era was the formation and breakup of supercontinents. The era began with the fragmentation of the supercontinent Rodinia and ended with the assembly of Pangaea. These tectonic movements not only shaped the planet's geography, but also influenced the climate and sea levels, which in turn impacted the evolution and distribution of life. The Carboniferous period, often referred to as the Age of Amphibians, was characterized by extensive swampy forests that later formed vast coal deposits. It was also during this time that reptiles first appeared, marking an important evolutionary step as these animals were better adapted to life on land compared to their amphibious ancestors. The Paleozoic era culminated in the Permian period, ended with the largest mass extinction in Earth's history, the Permian-Triassic extinction event. This catastrophic event, triggered by a combination of factors such as massive volcanic eruptions, climate change, and possibly asteroid impacts, wiped out approximately 95% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial species. This extinction paved the way for the rise of the dinosaurs and other life forms in the subsequent Mesozoic era. Cambrian explosion. The Cambrian explosion, which occurred approximately 541 million years ago, represents one of the most significant events in the history of life on Earth. During this relatively short period, spanning about 13 to 25 million years ago, there was an unprecedented increase in the diversity and complexity of life forms. This event marks the first appearance of most of the major animal phyla that exist today, including arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, and the earliest chordates. which are the ancestors of vertebrates. Before the Cambrian explosion, life on Earth was mostly composed of simple single-celled organisms and small, soft-bodied multicellular organisms. However, during the Cambrian period, life underwent a rapid transformation. Organisms developed hard body parts like shells and exoskeletons, which not only provided protection but also improved fossilization, giving scientists a rich record of this period. The causes of the Cambrian explosion are still debated among scientists, with multiple hypotheses proposed. One theory suggests that a significant rise in atmospheric oxygen levels allowed organisms to develop more complex structures and energy-intensive lifestyles, such as active swimming and predation. Another theory posits that genetic developments, particularly the evolution of developmental genes like Hox genes, enabled the creation of new body parts, leading to the diversity observed during this period. Ecological interactions such as the emergence of predators may have also played a crucial role. The introduction of predation likely drove the evolution of defensive adaptations like hard shells and rapid movement, further accelerating the diversification of life. The Berg's shell in Canada is one of the most famous fossil sites from this period, providing a unique window into the diverse and often bizarre life forms of the Cambrian seas. These fossils, which include both hard-bodied and soft-bodied organisms, offer valuable insights into the complexity of early marine ecosystems and the evolutionary experiments that characterized this period. Dimetrodon. Dimetrodon is a fascinating prehistoric creature that often gets mistaken for a dinosaur, but it is in fact not a dinosaur at all. This sail-backed predator lived during the early Permian period, roughly 295 to 272 million years ago, which is about 40 million years before the first dinosaurs appeared. Dimetrodon is classified as a synapsid, a group more closely related to mammals than to reptiles, making it a distant relative of mammals, including humans. One of the most distinctive features of Dimetrodon is the large sail on its back, formed by elongated spines extended from its vertebrae. The function of this sail has been widely debated. It may have served various purposes, such as thermal regulation, helping the animal absorb or dissipate heat, or it could have been used for display purposes, such as attracting mates or intimidating rivals. Dimetrodon was a top predator in its ecosystem, hunting a variety of prey, including amphibians and other tetrapods. It had a powerful bite, thanks to its heterodont dentition, teeth of different sizes, which is a characteristic more commonly associated with mammals. This feature allowed it to effectively process different types of food, an evolutionary advantage that hints at its role as an apex predator. Fossils of Dimetrodon have primarily been found in North America, particularly in the red beds of Texas and Oklahoma, but discoveries have also been made in parts of Europe. These fossils have provided significant insights into the early evolution of synapsids, helping scientists understand the transition from reptile-like ancestors to the early mammals. Walking with Dinosaur series. Walking with Dinosaurs is a groundbreaking documentary series that aired in 1999, produced by the BBC. The series represents a unique fusion of science and cutting-edge technology, aiming to bring to life the world of dinosaurs with an unprecedented level of realism. The show was conceived by Tim Haynes, who envisioned a documentary that would depict the lives of dinosaurs as if they were being observed in their natural habitats, much like modern-day wildlife documentaries. This approach was a significant departure from previous portrayals of dinosaurs in media, which often focus on them as monstrous creatures rather than as animals with complex behaviors and ecological roles. The series spans the Mesozoic era, covering the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods, which are collectively known as the Age of Dinosaurs. Each of the 6 episodes focuses on different environments and the creatures that inhabited them, ranging from the vast deserts of the late Triassic to the lush forests of the late Cretaceous. By using a combination of CGI, animatronics, and live-action footage shot in real-world locations, the series creates immersive landscapes where viewers can witness the daily lives of dinosaurs as they hunt, migrate, mate, and fight for survival. One of the most striking aspects of Walking with Dinosaurs is its dedication to scientific accuracy. The creators consulted with paleontologists to ensure that the depictions of the dinosaurs were as accurate as possible, given the knowledge at the time. For instance, the series shows dinosaurs with behaviors and physical features that were not commonly depicted before, such as the idea that some species might have been social animals living in herds, or that others might have used sophisticated hunting strategies similar to those of modern predators. The use of CGI was revolutionary for its time, allowing the series to depict not just the dinosaurs themselves, but also the entire ecosystem they lived in. The series showcases a range of species, from the towering Brachiosaurus to the deadly Tyrannosaurus rex, but it also pays attention to lesser-known species and the intricate relationships between different organisms. This helps to illustrate the complexity of prehistoric ecosystems and the evolutionary pressures that shaped the development of these ancient creatures. Jurassic Park franchise. The Jurassic Park franchise, initiated by Michael Crichton's 1990 novel and brought to life in Steven Spielberg's iconic 1993 film, has left an undeniable mark on both cinema and paleontology. The story, which revolves around the catastrophic consequences of cloning dinosaurs for a theme park, taps into deep-seated fears about humanity's hubris in the face of nature's power. The franchise spans 6 main films, starting with the original Jurassic Park and culminating in Jurassic World Dominion in 2022, along with various books, video games, and theme park attractions. At its core, Jurassic Park is a blend of science, fiction, and cutting-edge technology using groundbreaking CGI and animatronics to create realistic depictions of dinosaurs. The franchise's portrayals of dinosaurs, such as the Velociraptor and Tyrannosaurus rex, was influential, but not without scientific inaccuracies. For instance, the Velociraptors were depicted as much larger than their real-life counterparts, which were closer in size to a turkey and likely covered in feathers. Similarly, the film's depiction of the T-Rex as having poor vision is inaccurate. Paleontological evidence suggests it had excellent eyesight and a powerful bite, making it a formidable predator. Despite these liberties, the franchise had a significant impact on the field of paleontology, inspiring a surge of public interest and research into dinosaurs. The visual effects of the original film were so advanced that they influenced the development of other major film franchises, such as Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. The original Jurassic Park film was also a massive box office success, holding the title of the highest-grossing film of all time until surpassed by Titanic. The franchise's later films, particularly the Jurassic World series, continue to explore themes of genetic engineering and the ethical implications of playing God, expanding the story to include new hybrid dinosaurs and broader environmental consequences as dinosaurs spread beyond the confines of the park. Cenozoic era. The Cenozoic era, which began approximately 66 million years ago and continues to the present day, is often referred to as the Age of the Mammals. This era follows the mass extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs at the end of the Cretaceous period, making a significant shift in the dominant life forms on Earth. The Cenozoic is characterized by the dramatic rise of mammals, birds, and flowering plants, which diversified and evolved to fill the ecological niches left vacant by the dinosaurs. The Cenozoic is divided into 3 major periods: the Paleogene, Neogene, and Quaternary. The Paleogene period, which spans from 66 to 23 million years ago, is where mammals first began their evolutionary journey to dominance. During the Paleocene epoch, the earliest part of the Paleogene, mammals were relatively small and few in number, but as the climate warmed, they started to diversify. The Eocene epoch saw the emergence of many modern mammal families, including early forms of horses, whales, and primates. The Neogene period, covering from 23 to 2.6 million years ago, continued this trend of mammalian evolution. This period saw the rise of large mammals, like elephants, rhinos, and early human ancestors. The Miocene epoch, a part of the Neogene, was particularly important as it saw the further spread and adaptation of mammals and the establishment of grasslands, which significantly impacted the evolution of grazing animals. The Quaternary period, beginning 2.6 million years ago and extending to the present, includes the Pleistocene and Holocene epochs. The Pleistocene is known for the ice ages in the presence of large megafauna like the woolly mammoth and saber-toothed tiger, many of which went extinct by the end of this epoch. The Holocene marks the rise of human civilization, with humans becoming a significant force in shaping the planet's ecosystems. Throughout the Cenozoic, Earth's climate has seen significant fluctuations, from the warm greenhouse conditions of the early Cenozoic to the cooler icehouse conditions that characterize the later part of the era. These climatic shifts have played a crucial role in shaping the evolution and distribution of life on Earth. Megalodon. The Megalodon is widely regarded as the largest shark and one of the most formidable predators ever to have lived. This massive shark dominated the oceans from approximately 23 to 3.6 million years ago, during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs. It is estimated that the largest megalodons reached lengths of up to 60 feet and could weigh as much as 50 tons. This giant predator is often compared to the modern great white shark, but new research suggests that the megalodon had a shorter, more robust snout, a flatter jaw, and larger pectoral fins, which were likely necessary to support its massive size. Megalodon's teeth, which are the primary fossils discovered, are enormous, some reaching over 7 inches in length. These teeth are found globally in regions ranging from the coasts of North and South America to Europe and Africa, indicating that Megalodon inhabited a wide range of warm, shallow seas. These teeth provided crucial insights into the shark's feeding habits. Its powerful jaws, estimated to exert a bite force of up to 182,201 newtons, which allowed it to prey on large marine mammals, including whales and seals. The megalodon likely targeted the flippers and tails of its prey to immobilize them before delivering a fatal bite. The extinction of Megalodon around 3.6 million years ago is believed to be linked to significant changes in ocean temperatures and the subsequent loss of its warm water habitats. As the planet cooled and the sea levels dropped, many of the large marine mammals that Megalodon preyed upon either migrated to colder waters or became extinct themselves, leaving the giant shark without sufficient food sources. Titanoboa. Titanoboa is recognized as the largest snake ever to have lived, a true giant of the Paleocene epoch, which spanned from about 66 to 56 million years ago. This colossal snake, which measured up to 45 feet in length and weighed an estimated 1.25 tons, was discovered in the Cerrejón coal mines of northern Colombia. The fossilized remains of Titanoboa were found alongside other large reptiles, such as giant turtles and crocodile-like creatures, indicating that this region was once a lush, warm rainforest, a vastly different environment than it is today. Titanoboa's massive size can be attributed to the warm tropical climate of the Paleocene, which allowed cold-blooded animals like snakes to grow to unprecedented sizes. Unlike modern boas, Titanoboa was semi-aquatic, likely spending much of its time in water, similar to today's anacondas. Its diet probably included large fish, turtles, and crocodiles, and it would have been an apex predator in its ecosystem. The discovery of Titanoboa has provided scientists with valuable insights into the climate and environment of the early Paleocene, a time shortly after the extinction of the dinosaurs. The size of Titanoboa and other large reptiles found in the same area suggests the mean annual temperature in equatorial South America during this period was significantly higher than today, around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Titanoboa's enormous size, coupled with its dominance in its ecosystem, makes it one of the most fascinating prehistoric predators, offering a glimpse into the world where snakes ruled the tropical rainforests of ancient Earth. Pterosaurs are not dinosaurs. Pterosaurs were remarkable flying reptiles that ruled the skies during the Mesozoic era, but despite their frequent association with dinosaurs, they were not dinosaurs. Pterosaurs and dinosaurs shared a common ancestry, as both were a part of the larger group called Archosaurs, which also includes crocodiles and birds. However, pterosaurs belonged to a distinct lineage that developed unique adaptations for flight, setting them apart from their terrestrial dinosaur relatives. Pterosaurs first appeared during the late Triassic period, about 220 million years ago, and they thrived until the end of the Cretaceous period, around 66 million years ago. They were the first vertebrates to evolve powered flight, long before birds. Their wings were formed by a membrane of skin, muscle, and other tissues that stretched from their elongated fourth finger down to their ankles. This is different from birds, whose wings are supported by feathers, and bats, which use multiple fingers to support their wing membranes. Pterosaurs were incredibly diverse, ranging from small species the size of a sparrow to giants like Quetzalcoatlus, which had a wingspan exceeding 30 feet. This group of reptiles adapted to various ecological niches, with some species having long, beak-like jaws filled with teeth for catching fish, while others had specialized crests that may have been used for display or species recognition. The distinction between pterosaurs and dinosaurs is crucial for understanding their different evolutionary paths. While dinosaurs dominated the land, pterosaurs ruled the air, each evolving in response to their unique environments. The separation in their evolutionary history explains why pterosaurs developed characteristics suited for flight, while dinosaurs adapted to a range of terrestrial lifestyles. Birds are dinosaurs. Birds are quite literally living dinosaurs. This understanding comes from decades of paleontological research that has shown a direct evolutionary link between modern birds and theropod dinosaurs, a group that includes famous species like Tyrannosaurus rex and Velociraptor. The connection was first hinted at with the discovery of Archaeopteryx in the 1860s, a fossil that exhibited both bird-like and dinosaurian traits, such as feathers, teeth, and a long bony tail. As research progressed, especially with the discovery of numerous feathered dinosaur fossils in China and other parts of the world, scientists solidified the idea that birds are the descendants of small carnivorous dinosaurs. These dinosaurs gradually evolved into smaller, lighter forms, adapting to flight over millions of years. Feathers, which likely initially evolved for insulation or display, became more specialized for flight in these theropods. Over time, their bodies also became more streamlined. Their bones hollowed out to reduce weight, and their metabolic rates increased, leading to the warm-bloodedness we see in birds today. One of the most striking pieces of evidence is the structure of birds' feathers, which evolved from simple hair-like structures in dinosaurs like Cenozoic to the complex flight-capable feathers seen in Archaeopteryx and modern birds. Additionally, the skeletal similarities, such as the wishbone, three-fingered hands, and certain aspects of the respiratory systems, further tie birds to their theropod ancestors. This evolutionary relationship redefines our understanding of what dinosaurs were like. Far from the sluggish, cold-blooded reptiles they were once thought to be, many dinosaurs were dynamic, warm-blooded creatures with complex behaviors. Understanding that birds are the direct descendants of these creatures help us appreciate them not just as everyday animals, but as the last surviving lineage of a once dominant group of reptiles. Megafauna. Megafauna refers to the large animals that roamed the earth during various periods, with the most well-known being those from the Pleistocene epoch, which spanned from about 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago. These giant creatures included species like the woolly mammoth, saber-toothed cats, giant ground sloths, and the massive short-faced bear. The term megafauna generally applies to animals weighing over 45 kilograms, though some definitions extend this to include any species with significant body size. The evolution of megafauna was closely tied to the environmental conditions of their time. Following the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs around 66 million years ago, mammals began to evolve larger body sizes, filling ecological niches left vacant by the dinosaurs. This led to the rise of the megafauna, which became dominant in many ecosystems. These large animals evolved various adaptations, such as thick fur in the case of the woolly mammoth, to survive in the cold climates of the ice ages. The extinction of many megafauna species, particularly at the end of the Pleistocene, has been a topic of significant scientific debate. Two primary hypotheses are often discussed: climate change and human activity. As the Earth's climate warmed at the end of the last ice age, habitats suitable for these large animals shrank, leading to their decline. Simultaneously, humans were becoming more widespread, and there is substantial evidence that overhunting contributed to the extinction of many megafauna species. Interestingly, the concept of de-extinction has sparked interest in recent years, with some scientists exploring the possibility of bringing back species like the woolly mammoth using genetic technologies. The idea is not just about reviving extinct species, but also about restoring ecosystems that these animals once dominated, potentially helping to combat climate change by converting tundra back into grasslands, which sequester carbon more efficiently. Tier 2. Life originated from the seas. The origin of life on Earth is a fascinating and complex topic that traces back to the ancient seas, where the first living organisms are believed to have emerged around 3.7 to 4.1 billion years ago. These primordial oceans provided the perfect environment for life to begin, with their warm, nutrient-rich waters acting as a cradle for the earliest biochemical processes. The Earth's early atmosphere, dominated by gases like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane, and ammonia, lacked oxygen but was rich in other chemicals necessary for the formation of organic molecules. These molecules, which include simple building blocks like nucleotides, likely formed through chemical reactions in the atmosphere and were delivered to the oceans by rainfall. Over time, these simple molecules combined to form more complex structures such as RNA, which is thought to have been one of the first self-replicating molecules. This RNA world hypothesis suggests that RNA molecules not only store genetic information but also catalyze chemical reactions, driving early forms of metabolism. As these molecules replicated, natural selection began to favor those that were more efficient at copying themselves, leading to increasingly complex forms of life. Eventually, these replicating molecules became enclosed within lipid membranes, forming the first primitive cells. These cells would have been similar to modern bacteria, capable of basic metabolic processes and self-replication. Over billions of years, these simple cells evolved into more complex forms, eventually leading to the diverse array of life we see today. The role of the oceans in this process cannot be overstated. Not only did they provide the medium in which these early chemical reactions took place, but they also acted as a buffer against the harsh conditions of early Earth, protecting emerging life from ultraviolet radiation and temperature extremes. The availability of metals and other nutrients in the oceans also played a crucial role in the development of early life forms, helping to drive chemical reactions necessary for life. This early evolution set the stage for the development of more complex organisms, eventually leading to the explosion of life forms during the Cambrian period, when many of the major groups of animals first appeared. The deep connection between life and the oceans remains evident today, as the seas continue to be a vital part of Earth's biosphere. Barnum Brown. Barnum Brown was one of the most influential, colorful figures in the history of paleontology, best known for discovering the first partial skeleton of Tyrannosaurus rex in 1902. Born in 1873, he was named after the famous showman P.T. Barnum, and his life was marked by a blend of scientific achievement and showmanship that earned him the nickname Mr. Bones. Brown's career began at the American Museum of Natural History in New York, where he was hired to collect fossils for the museum's growing collection. His knack for finding extraordinary fossils quickly became apparent, and his discoveries helped the American Museum of Natural History establish one of the most impressive dinosaur collections in the world. His most famous discovery, the T-Rex, came from the Hell Creek Formation in Montana, a site that would later become legendary in paleontological circles. The discovery of this enormous predator shocked the public and reshaped our understanding of prehistoric life, bringing dinosaurs from the realm of science fiction into the popular imagination. Beyond T-Rex, Brown's contributions to paleontology were vast. He conducted expeditions across the globe, from the Badlands of Alberta, Canada, to the deserts of India, always in search of new fossils. His work was characterized by a relentless pursuit of new specimens, often using unconventional methods like dynamite to extract fossils from rock. His showmanship extended beyond the field. Brown famously secured funding from Sinclair Oil by promoting the connection between dinosaurs and fossil fuels, even helping to create the company's iconic dinosaur logo. Despite his lack of formal scientific training and his infrequent publication of scientific papers, Brown's contributions to paleontology were immense. His ability to find and recover fossils was unmatched, and many of the skeletons he collected are still on display at the museum today. Brown's life was as adventurous as his discoveries, marked by global travels, colorful personal life, and a legacy that continues to inspire the paleontologists and dinosaur enthusiasts alike. Paleontology concept before 1842. Before 1842, the concept of paleontology was not yet fully formed, but the groundwork was being laid by various naturalists and scientists who were beginning to explore the ancient past through fossils. The systematic study of fossils as evidence of past life began to take shape during the 17th and 18th centuries, primarily in Europe. Early thinkers like Xenophanes of Colophon, Leonardo da Vinci, and Avicenna had recognized that some fossils were the remains of ancient organisms, but their ideas were often limited by the scientific knowledge of their times. During the 18th century, Georges Cuvier, a French naturalist, played a pivotal role in advancing the study of fossils. Cuvier's work in comparative anatomy led him to conclude that extinction was a real phenomenon, a radical idea at the time. His ability to reconstruct ancient animals from fossil fragments helped establish the foundation for paleontology as a scientific discipline. Cuvier's work demonstrated the fossils could be used to understand the history of life on Earth, and his methods laid the groundwork for future paleontologists. The term paleontology itself was coined in 1822 Henri Marie Ducartet de Blainville, a French zoologist, to describe the study of ancient life through fossils. During the early 19th century, the field began to grow rapidly. with significant discoveries like the identification of dinosaurs by William Buckland and Gideon Mantell. The increasing organization of geological societies, establishment of natural history museums also contributed to the formalization of paleontology as a scientific discipline. By the time Richard Owen coined the term Dinosauria in 1841 to describe the newly discovered group of giant reptiles, paleontology had already started to take shape as a distinct field of study. However, it was still largely focused on the collection and description of fossils, rather than the more theoretical and evolutionary approaches that would develop later. Pangaea. Pangaea was a supercontinent that existed during the late Paleozoic and early Mesozoic eras, approximately 335 to 175 million years ago. Its name, derived from the Greek pan, meaning all, and Gaia, meaning earth, reflects the fact that it comprised nearly all of Earth's landmasses. The formation of Pangaea began around 335 million years ago, during the Carboniferous period, when tectonic plate movements gradually brought together previously separated landmasses. The assembly of Pangaea was a complex process driven by plate tectonics, where continental plates moved due to mantle convection beneath Earth's surface. This process led to the collision of major landmasses, including Gondwana, a supercontinent that included what is now South America, Africa, Antarctica, India, and Australia, with Laurasia, comprising present-day North America, Europe, and Asia. By the time Pangaea was fully formed around 300 million years ago, it covered about one-third of Earth's surface, while the rest was occupied by a vast global ocean called Panthalassa. Pangaea's existence significantly influenced the planet's climate, ocean circulation, and the distribution of life. For example, its immense size meant that much of the interior of the supercontinent was likely arid, as it was too far from the ocean to receive moisture. The supercontinent's formation also played a key role in the evolution and distribution of species, as organisms that were once isolated on separate landmasses now found themselves in close proximity, leading to new evolutionary pressures and interactions. The breakup of Pangaea began around 175 million years ago, during the early Jurassic period, driven by the same tectonic forces that created it. This process of rifting and seafloor spreading gradually separated the supercontinent into smaller landmasses, leading to the formation of the Atlantic Ocean and the eventual positioning of continents into their current locations. The evidence for Pangaea's existence is compelling and includes the jigsaw-like fit of continental coastlines, such as the striking similarity between the coasts of South America and Africa, the distribution of identical fossils across continents now separated by oceans, and matching geological formations found on different continents. These clues helped to develop the theory of continental drift, first proposed by Alfred Wegener in the early 20th century, which eventually led to the modern understanding of plate tectonics. Pangaea is not unique in Earth's history. It is the most recent in a series of supercontinents that have formed and broken apart over geological time. This cycle of supercontinent assembly and fragmentation, known as the supercontinent cycle, has played a crucial role in shaping the planet's geological and biological history. Antarctica used to be green. Antarctica, now a frozen continent covered almost entirely by ice, was not always the barren, icy desert we know today. During the mid-Miocene epoch, around 15 to 20 million years ago, Antarctica experienced much warmer and wetter conditions, which allowed lush vegetation, including palm trees, to thrive along its coast. This period, often referred to as the Antarctic greenhouse, was characterized by high levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which contributed to the warm climate. Fossil evidence, including pollen, leaf wax, and even remnants of ancient trees, indicates that the continent once supported forests and diverse ecosystems. These findings come from sediment cores drilled from the ocean floor around Antarctica, which have preserved traces of the ancient plant life that once flourished there. The presence of such vegetation suggests that parts of Antarctica were more like modern-day New Zealand or southern Chile, rather than the icy wilderness it is today. The transition from a green forested continent to its current icy state began around 34 million years ago during the Eocene-Oligocene extinction event. This period marked a significant cooling of the Earth's climate, leading to the formation of the Antarctic ice sheets. The cooling was driven by a combination of factors, including changes in Earth's orbit, decreasing levels of atmospheric CO2, and the isolation of Antarctica as it drifted southward, cutting it off from the warm ocean currents that once moderated its climate. Today, rising global temperatures are once again in Antarctica. In recent decades, the continent has been warming 3 times faster than the rest of the planet, leading to significant ice loss and even the reemergence of some vegetation in certain areas. This greening of Antarctica is a stark reminder of the dynamic nature of Earth's climate and the profound changes that have occurred over millions of years ago. That wraps up part 1 of this iceberg. Stay tuned for part 2, and make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment on what you thought about the video.